In this video, you'll learn the 5 questions that'll help you put wild meat in the freezer and a trophy on your wall. You'll also hear why these questions are critical, with input from a crowd as eclectic as a Harvard professor, a Prussian field marshal, and a quiet professional. Well, maybe not so quiet. Someone with a strong opinion on shooting. Coming right up after the intro. Welcome to the Red Kettle channel. This is where you get a view under the bonnet. I'll share updates on product development and tips and tricks for efficient hunting. Today you'll get 5 essential questions to help you succeed when hunting. And I've got a bonus for you at the end of the video. In the previous video, we established 2 truths for hunting. Anything new is a red flag, and new creates 3 pitfalls you must avoid. Here's a link to the red flag video, and here's a link to the pitfall video if you want to start the series from the beginning. Otherwise, stay with me and get some guidance from a Prussian field marshal. Here's a question for you. What's more important, planning or execution? Trick question. They're interlinked and both important. It was a Prussian field marshal, Helmut von Moltke the Elder, who first suggested that no plan survives first contact with the enemy. That concept applies to hunting. You need to adjust your plan as the situation unfolds. To be able to do that, you must develop an appropriate toolbox, one that connects your overall strategy for how you hunt with the techniques you need to master to use your gear efficiently. And speaking about techniques, later in the video I've got a quote from a former US Army top tier operator. It resonates with the latest in neuroscience, and it's a perfect marriage between theory and practice. But back to the toolbox. Developing this toolbox will help you think faster and act faster than an animal you hunt. But here's the problem. How do you develop it? It's hard, and you're faced with one of the most formidable foes, a blank piece of paper. Fortunately, the father of disruptive innovation can help you. Here's a quote from Harvard professor Clayton Christensen that'll set you off on the right course. How about that? But you're not home free yet. But that piece of paper won't stay blank for long. As it happens, I've got the questions you need to ask and answer. And I suppose you kind of expected that from the title. Let's summarize, let's recap. What are you trying to achieve here? Your objective is wild meat in the freezer and a trophy on your wall. To achieve that, you need to find the animal and then shoot it. In the Red Kettle Efficient Hunting Framework, we use 6 universal steps, the hunting process. Regardless of your type of hunting, regardless what animal you hunt. And those 6 steps connect your knowledge and plans with your gear and how to use it. So your challenge is to determine the questions you need to answer to pull it all together. Like building a house, you need a solid foundation to base it all on. Or said in another way, you need actionable intel. And this leads us to question number 1. What's the situation? Any kind of plan starts with requirements or input. For efficient hunting, we refer to that as the situation summary. You can easily waste time here, so focus on 3 things: the animal, the area, and the weather. This is a simplification. If you're serious about setting yourself up for success, then I have something you'll love at the end of the video. Well, back to the questions. Once you know the situation, you can start planning. And planning leads us to question number 2. How will you hunt? To answer that question, consider these 3 elements: your overall strategy, the phases of your hunt, and the tactics you'll use to complete each phase. Consider strategy as one of the 2 main hunting archetypes: ambush versus stalking. An ambush could be hunting from a tree stand or simply lying in wait in a suitable position. And stalking is still hunting, where you move through the hunting area on foot to create an opportunity to shoot. There are of course variations between those 2 scenarios. When it comes to efficient hunting, we connect strategy and tactics with the hunting process I mentioned earlier. Once you know your strategy and tactics, you proceed to question number 3. What tools do you need? Tools are the gear you need to complete each phase, like optics for finding an animal, some type of rest, bipod or sticks, or tripod for an optimal setup, and your rifle and scope to take a shot. Why do I refer to your gear as tools? I'll explain that in a moment, which leads us to question number 4. How will you carry them? It's not enough to know how to use your gear. It's close to useless if A, you take too long to get it ready, or B, if you take too long to get it out of the way. Here's a tip. Consider your chest your workbench, and make sure you have access to the items you need often or you might need in a hurry. And when you need them, you must have an answer to question number 5. What techniques will you use? If tactics are what you will do, techniques are how you'll do it. This includes the way you'll use each piece of gear you bring. And this is where the rubber meets the road. I've hunted for about 28 years and I've made mistakes. I've seen mistakes being made. Many times, techniques have been the culprit. And you can group the mistakes into two categories: poor execution, slow execution. Poor execution includes mistakes like jerking the trigger enough to set your bullet off course. The hunter may or may not know what happened. For slow execution, the hunter knows what to do, but they haven't developed subroutines. In other words, using the gear isn't second nature, so they take too long time. And that can cause other problems, which I'll get to later. One reason I refer to gear as tools is this: without mastering the technique, a tool is just a toy. By the way, toys are definitely okay in my book, but not on a hunt. Here's a quote that captures why you must work on your techniques. It's about tactical shooting, but it applies 100% to hunting. The quote is from Robert Keller from Gamut Resolutions, and it's fair to say he knows a thing or two about performing in high pressure situations, and he's got lots to say on shooting. You should check out his site if you're into pistol or carbine shooting. Anyway, back to the question, and we have a problem. The questions are only the first step. They'll help you when you first learn to hunt, when you hunt on new ground or even abroad, and when you buy a new piece of gear that you've got to integrate into your setup. But this is of course just a high-level summary. You need more detail. If you're serious about hunting and want to set yourself up for success, then check out the free Efficient Hunting ebook that we made. You'll be guided through the 5 questions and get more detail on all the things we talked about in this video. And by the way, there's a bonus waiting for you when you get to the ebook download page. Thanks for watching.